Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Here's what we're going to be talking about today. This is the third section of Chapter 7 on home improvement, right? The first section we talked about was purchasing items, purchasing, some type of appliance using a website. Then the second section was, well, if you purchased it, when will the delivery date be? Because usually you don't just take it home with you. It usually requires some service technician to come in and install it for you. Now we're going to be talking about the actual blueprint, the floor plan of your home. This is a little bit different. So we're going to be talking about area and perimeter. And then I'm going to use my room in here as an example of this so you guys can get a sense for this. And again, today is just an intro day. It's not anything specific. It's just I want to give you an introduction to some of these words here, just so you're kind of aware of them, you know what they are, and you know how to use them. And then tomorrow we'll kind of go more in depth, and we'll probably see a question of the day tomorrow on this stuff, so you know how to calculate it. All right, questions on what we're doing today. I want to go about 10 minutes worth of notes and give you about 10 minutes to kind of work on your assignment today. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to give you a little bit of time in case you have questions, or if you don't remember how to do it, you can ask. Okay. All right. So let's jump in. Let's talk about area and perimeter. So if we had a blueprint to your home, let's say this is your home. Okay, this is the outline to your bedroom at home, and maybe this is the new addition to your home. You're doing your home improvement, right? You're adding a bedroom onto your house, right? The idea here is that when you find area is the space, it is the surface area or the number of square units in an object. So I'm going to write that down as the number of square units contained in an object. Now, let me explain that in common terms, because right now that just is a bunch of gibberish, right? So, the idea is that if you were to look at the floor in this room, I'm going to use my room as an example. Do you see that I have square tiles on the floor? It's how many of those tiles would fit in this room. That's what area is. So if you could count them individually, count them all up, that would be the surface area of this room according to that unit, according to that many tiles. So that'd be my label, this many tiles. Right? This room, I think it's 24 by 25 to the back in terms of tile. I think the tile's about a foot, I think. So 24 by 25. So that means there's 24 tiles going this way, right? There's 24 going that way. And then there's 25 going to the back.
Oh, wow. Your estimation was so long.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you count?
No.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I counted.
I was like, really? I literally
Your estimation was like...
I literally just guessed that number. Okay, well, hey, we know we're a little accurate. Okay, that's good, because I merely guessed at that. So 24 and 25, let's say that's what it is. Now, how do we find area? How many total tiles are in this room? You multiply those two numbers together. That's all you do. You take the length, right? And I don't care which one's length. I don't care which one you think is length. And you take the width, and you just multiply them. So to find that number, you take 24 times 25, and that tells you how many total little tiles are on the floor, what your surface area is. So 24 times 25, there is 600 tiles on the floor in here. 600 square units. Doesn't look like it. That's a lot of tile in here. That's pretty expensive. Think about it this way. Usually these come in bundles, right? They come in just like a box. It's got like 30 in a box, right? And when you're buying tile, or it could be in any number, it could be in 50s, who knows. You're going to spend some money. And then you have to have the glue, the adhesive to, put it on the ground and keep it down. Then you gotta coat the top of it with some type of sealant so it doesn't leak or drip or, erode out from underneath you. It's a process. If a box of 30 costs even $10, right? So if you take 600 tile divided by a box of 30, that would be, I'd need 20 boxes of 30 tiles to fill this room if I didn't break any. And then if each of those cost $10 for the box, you're looking at already $200 worth of tile in this room. $200, that's not cheap. for the flooring only, and that's not including installation. It's not including the glue. You need a lot, some type of molding of some type, so that you can grout, if you will, to keep it down on the ground. And then you need a sealant that goes over the top. So, yeah, it's kind of expensive, and that's a cheaper route compared to carpet. So, carpet would also be in square units, right? So again, the purpose of area is tile, hardwood floor, carpet of some sort, if I didn't say carpet already. It's also used on the walls for paint. So if you paint the walls, in this room, they're all kind of this weird dungeoning gray color. It requires, how many square foot you can cover, square tiles, square feet, square inches, square yards, whatever it is. Because on the can of paint, it'll tell you what the coverage is, supposedly, right? Allegedly, right? Perfect. Perfect. You got a pass for me there, Billy?
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. I'll just see if they marked it correctly. Thank you. We're just taking a few notes here. So, perfect. All right. Okay. But yeah, so that's area, right? It's the number of square units on the floor. We'll come back to this tomorrow. We'll do some calculations with it. Then we'll start talking about like the purpose of it. So if we're going to go buy paint, we'll talk about what that costs and how much you'd use and what type of paint you should buy. I have my own idea of what type of paint I like to get, but some people would disagree. This is the sheer price of it. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. So today was just to introduce that word. Any questions with what a area is? Number of square units on the surface. So it could be the floor, ceiling, wall, whatever it is. Okay. Now, last word here, perimeter. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Okay. All right. The last word here is perimeter. Okay. Perimeter is the distance around an object. The distance around an object. Okay. So if you're going all the way around the room and just count up the distance, like use a measuring tape or a ruler and just kind of lay it down and kind of count it up, that's perimeter of the room. So so in my case, maybe this is 24 feet going this way. So it's 24 feet, and then it's 25 feet coming down this direction. Then how far would I go this way again? What would be that number going back?
24.
24 again. And going up, 25. That'd be perimeter. Oh, I don't know why I just wrote F there. 25 feet. Okay. That's perimeter. So you'd add up these numbers. 25 plus 24 plus 25 plus 24. 98, yeah. We're too short of 100. Bless you. And that would be in feet. Now, why we'd ever do this? Like, what's the purpose? Like, area makes sense. Flooring, hardwood, carpet, paint on the wall.
Fence.
But, say it again?
Fence.
Say it again?
Putting up a fence.
Yeah, putting up a fence. So if you're in the backyard, you're going to put up a fence, use this perimeter. You need to know how long of a fence you need, right? You got to mark it off. And if you're going to put up a fence, you got to get approval from the city. And you got to get a zoning like permit to install a fence, because they have to come out, zone your land to see kind of where the major gas lines, water lines are, so you don't, like, when you're poking those like fence posts in the ground, you don't like rupture a line and kill yourself. So they got to kind of mark those off for you, and you don't kill your neighbor either. So but it also in a room, right? That's fence in the backyard, right? Or front yard maybe. In this room, it would be that little like tile along the bottom of my wall. It's in black. It's called floor molding. It's spelled differently than what you think. Or crown molding would be along the ceiling. I don't have any in here. I don't think I have any crown molding in here, and it doesn't look like it. So, but floor molding, they call it a splash pad on the bottom. But in other buildings and other rooms, they have like a little trim at the very bottom along the wall. The reason why they have trim, especially in like a carpeted room, it covers the corners. So if you have a really bad cut in the corner, it covers it up. If you have tile, maybe you didn't have a tile that was quite long enough, it can kind of cover up that gap a little bit, and it allows for expansion and shrink because of the weather. And it just kind of looks nice. It kind of protects. Helps if you have really bad cuts for the actual sheetrock on the actual walls itself, in case they didn't go all the way to the ground. So there's purposes to it. Crown molding, it's in here. I'm surprised I don't have it in here with this drop ceiling. Usually it holds the ceiling up. Kind of keeps those gaps in the corners correct. But yeah, it's one of those things. And the boards themselves for like the molding, and in this room I don't have any. It's just this weird tile. It's kind of expensive. Floor molding, crown molding. It's so many. It comes in like usually 8 feet or 10 feet, like boards, planks, whatever they want to call it, and it can be expensive. And this room is 98 feet around, roughly. And I got to go buy 98 feet worth of lumber or whatever it is. Maybe it's a plastic carbonate kind of a thing, and then cut it myself and get it kind of fit and trimmed and nail it in and get it painted and all that. It's a process, but it can make it look good. It does help the value of your home go up a little bit. So yeah. So that's something we're going to look at tomorrow. So tomorrow for sure you will want to bring a Chromebook tomorrow. We're going to do some research. We're going to go to like Lowe's and Menards.com, and we're going to find some of this stuff and see what prices are. We're going to apply to this room just so you can get a sense for how much would it cost to just put carpet in here, right? Everyone always wants, like, why don't we have carpet in every classroom? It'd be really nice. I want to take off my shoes and rub my feet on the ground. Until you realize it's going to cost like $3,000 to install carpet in this room. And you're like, oh, yeah, we'll stick with tile. So, all right. But yeah, we're going to look at all that stuff tomorrow. So does that make sense, what we're doing tomorrow? Okay, we're done for the day. So you guys can work on wherever you need to. We have homework due tomorrow, right? That's that worksheet 7.2. It's on delivery dates. So make sure you're getting that wrapped up. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I don't think you need calculators, I don't think. But if you do need one, don't be afraid to ask. We have homework due tomorrow. Gradebook's up to date, so check out the gradebook in case you are missing something. So make sure you get that turned in and wrapped up and all that good stuff. So, all right, but that's it for today. Pretty easy. So I'm going to stop the camera there. I went 12 minutes, so almost exactly what I wanted.